violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let's get into the video.
This KKK costume worn by a student at Pittsburg High School on Wednesday has been confiscated, according to a note from the school principal that went out to all parents. Other students, though, very upset over what they witnessed at school and saw in this photo.
I was surprised, like how the principal or like none of the security agents didn't stop him or anything like that.
Students tell us there was a costume contest at lunch on Wednesday, and that is the day the costume was worn. In a note that went out to parents Thursday, the principal says the student in the Ku Klux Klan costume admitted to wearing it on a dare.
So guys, as you can see, the dude in the costume, either white, Latina, something like that, but they have the people on the side of him blurred out. And there are brothers posing with him in the picture. And maybe I can even, attach the original picture to this video. But there are brothers who are posing with him in the picture. So I find it funny. They're trying to categorize this as some racist phenomenon and something like that online, or at least on Twitter. They were going crazy about it. And it's just like, obviously it's not right. It's not the right thing to do. There are a lot of people wilding on Halloween with their costumes, male and females alike. But this one is definitely insensitive. But it's like, there are also, it looks like this white boy might have had an N-word pass, honestly. When a white boy, you hang out with brothers and then he end up getting the N-word pass, he might have earned the right to wear the KKK hoodie at this point, bro, because these dudes was posing with him like it was all good, and they were probably the ones that bet him.
Even if it was a dare, because that's still disrespectful to our kind and stuff, and our kind.
To our kind, what, bruh? What?
That's still disrespectful.
According to the principal's note,
why he say it like that though? Why couldn't he just say it's disrespectful to African Americans, African descendants of slaves, and all that kind of stuff? Like, this man can't talk.
The student wore the costume through 4 periods without being told to take it off. It's believed he wore the costume during certain times and not during class.
Why would you let somebody come to school, walk around all day like that?
The note to parents says the student in the costume has been, quote, assigned consequences. He will participate in the school's restorative justice process to learn how his actions have impacted and harmed others. And in that process will help repair harm he has caused. Some we spoke with believe stronger disciplinary measures should be taken here.
He should be expelled. No comment. I'm just saying, it is what it is. He shouldn't, as disrespectful.
Should he be expelled? I mean, he did it on a dare. I don't know. I feel like kids don't get expelled for fights and all that kind of stuff when they're actually inflicting violence on somebody. But I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't go I wouldn't make a big fuss if he got expelled, but he went on the dare. Obviously, it was a dumb thing to do, but he's also a kid going off of a dare, and they probably incentivized him to get some money out of that. So
to everybody.
Now, I did reach out to the principal and the superintendent to get their take on all of this, but have yet to hear back. Reporting in Pittsburgh, J.R. Stone, ABC 7 News.
This was held today in the East Bay City at Pittsburg High School. Students demanded a fellow student be expelled for wearing a Ku Klux Klan costume to school. KTV's Alyssa Harrington joins us live from just outside the high school with more on this story. Alyssa.
Well, Mike, that student wore this costume to Pittsburg High School last week ahead of Halloween. We did try to speak to the principal several times today. He won't comment on the incident or comment on today's protest, but students tell us they are
Bruh, when you look at the original photo, it's like these dudes, it's like 3 black dudes posing with them. Like 4 black, or it's 4 black dudes posing with them. Like everything's all good. I don't know, bruh. I don't know.
Are outraged and say there is no excuse for wearing this type of costume. Students marched in front of Pittsburg High School, holding signs, shouting, and chanting. They're angry a student wore a KKK costume to school and feel.
Yo, that sign says the only mask we should be wearing is for COVID. I'm dead.
The school administration has not taken a hard enough stance on the issue.
And we just want justice for what's right.
This is the picture. The teen is wearing a white hood and robe.
It's not a costume, it's a hate crime, and it's really not okay.
Wearing a white hood and
a hate crime? I don't know. They going overboard with the hate crime. Look, it's 3 other black dudes.
It's a hate crime, and it's really not
a white hood and robe.
It's not a costume, it's a hate.
And we just want justice for what's right.
This,
like, as you can see, it's 4 other brothers hanging with them, throwing their sets up. It looks like Buddy might have had the N-word pass. I ain't gonna lie. But what about these dudes who were posing with him, showing that it was all good? I mean, are they gonna get pressed by any of the other students? I don't know.
This is the picture. The teen is wearing a white hood and robe.
It's not a costume, it's a hate crime, and it's really not okay.
In an email sent to parents, Principal Todd Whitmire said the student wore the costume on a dare, and he did face consequences. But classmates say the teen only got suspended for a few days. They want him expelled.
And it just felt like the consequences that was given was not the proper consequences that was supposed to be given.
We just wanted to get the message through that he should be expelled instead of just suspended for a couple days, because
so they want to expel him. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like, I'm desensitized to stuff like this. To me, it wasn't a big deal. They suspended him 2 days. He took his L. Looks like he won the dare, obviously. But now, if it was like a whole gang of them just pulled up, then that'd be a little different. But I don't know, bro. To me, it looks like he got the N-word pass. I ain't gonna lie.
Kids get suspended for fighting, and this is not the same thing. This is worse, actually.
The email said the student will take part in the school's restorative justice program.
Hold on. So she said fighting isn't as bad. Like, she says that wearing this costume is worse than fighting, worse than another student putting their hands on people. I can't give it to you there, sis.
Process to recognize. Actually, the email said the student will take part in the school's restorative justice process to recognize the harm his actions caused.
Still going on.
Howard Farmer's granddaughter is a student at Pittsburg High School. He said he grew up in the South, and there's nothing funny about a costume symbolic of racism and hate.
I'm 72 years old, and all my life, that hasn't been a joke. My mom tells me about stories where she used to.
Well, you got to understand, we do live in a society where people are smoking their dead ops, smoking other people's family members. So this is how a lot of these young kids, they don't really even process it like that, honestly.
Sit in the dark in the house, and everybody have to be quiet, and they can hear the horseback with the torches and the hoods coming around down the street.
This is actually the second race-related incident to spark outrage here in the East Bay. In Concord at De La Salle High School, some students reenacted George Floyd's death, and that picture went viral on social media. The president of the school there would not go on camera, but told me the situation was handled appropriately. Live in Pittsburgh, I'm Alyssa Harrington, KTVU Fox 2 News.
Alyssa, thank you for the report.
So guys, as you can see, I just wanted to show you guys this article. Little update. We're not going to read the whole article. says Black Lives Matter protesters are facing felony charges a year after uprisings. And I kind of made the connection with the Capitol riots and the BLM protests, in that they were going super hard on the Capitol rioters, but letting people who was pretty much going crazy on police precincts, going crazy on all types of public and private property. But this is just the first stanza in this article, how they basically categorized what a lot of these rioters did in these quote unquote peaceful protests. So they say, what is the price of dish soap for Linnell, a 46-year-old Chicagoan? The price could be 3 to 7 years in prison and a completely shattered life and future. Prosecutors say he took dish soap from a Chicago convenience store without paying during the uprisings after George Floyd's murder by white Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. So the brother took dish soap, okay, in a store. He's a 46-year-old man. A grown-ass man taking dish soap. Like, bruh, you 46-year-old and you can't afford no dish soap. They're saying that's all he took. He probably wreaked more havoc. Who knows? Okay. But this is the type of dudes that we got. These are the old heads that we supposed to be listening to. 46-year-old men who stealing dish soap during a protest or a riot.
Information news at noon on your Monday. I'm Fred Blankenship. We begin with a developing story this afternoon after a trick-or-treater was hit and killed. It happened last night while the boy was trick-or-treating with friends in southeast Atlanta, and we're learning new information from police about this investigation. Channel 2's Christian Jennings is live right now in the East Lake neighborhood. Christian, this story is so hard to hear. This is something that all parents worry about on a night like Halloween.
Yeah, as a mom who trick-or-treated with her daughter last night, this story makes me sick to my stomach. Absolutely heartbreaking. And this is where it all happened, here off Memorial Drive. I've been speaking with the aunt of that 11-year-old and also the stepfather of that child who was killed. Of course, their family is devastated and really wanting some answers as to how this could have happened. Now, Atlanta police say a driver hit the child last night near Daniel Avenue and Memorial Drive here.
Dang. So 11-year-old boy hit and run in Atlanta. Atlanta's on fire, man.
Just before 8:30 p.m. Police say the driver didn't have time to stop. A neighbor told me that she held that driver in her arms for a good 2 hours last night. Everybody in just complete shock over this.
The issue was the 11-year-old took off from the group and ran across Memorial Drive. There's going to be no charges against the driver.
Damn. Well, I mean, it was an accident, I guess. Buddy ran out in the street, man.
Now, of course, police are still investigating this, so we'll have to just see how the day progresses. But again, you do have family of that child out here talking with neighbors, just trying to piece everything together. Meanwhile, one neighbor told us that this is a very dangerous area and there needs to be some traffic calming put in place out here. She even pointed out, you see that pedestrian sign over there. It's sort of blocked, by that tree, and then there's not one on the other side of the road here on Memorial. So, neighbors just been telling me that some changes need to be made out here anyway. And then, of course, you have this tragic situation happen here. We're still continuing to gather details. We'll bring you the very latest on Channel 2 Action News starting at 4.
Tonight, a family is devastated and a neighborhood is calling for changes after a little boy was hit by a car and killed while trick-or-treating out in East Lake.
11 Alive's Brittany Kleinpeter spent the day out in the community.
I spoke with the neighbor who actually called 911. He lives in this house right here behind me, and he tells me that he held that little boy's hand until the ambulance arrived.
Damn. And this Halloween weekend was spooky. I did say that. I told you guys it was gonna be spooky out there.
And we asked him to even squeeze our hand to see if he would respond. He wasn't really that responsive.
Family members say 11-year-old Devon David was hit by a car while trick-or-treating on Sunday near Eastlake. Wesley Fulton says he saw it happen and rushed to help.
I had my nephew run in the house and got a blanket for him. We put a blanket over him. We're holding his hand, and I'm talking to him. Like, come on, little man, you know, you got this. We're going to bring you back. You know, we got this. You're going to be all right.
He says the boy's family came to his house today to thank him for helping Devon.
Dang, it was just, man, a tragic accident, bro. Tragic accident.
Comforted that somebody was there to be with their child as he was laying on the street from injuries.
Atlanta police say Devon was standing on the sidewalk with several other children along Memorial Drive around 8:30 Sunday night when he went across the street and was hit. He died at the hospital. Neighbors say this isn't the first time they've seen an accident like this.
22 years I've been in the house. I've seen some horrific accidents, just head-ons and everything in between.
Yeah, see, and what people don't realize, them streets are super narrow up there. They super narrow, so you got to be extra careful.
Former Neighborhood Association president says they've been working to slow down drivers along Memorial Drive for years.
It's just heartbreaking. I've got a 10-year-old son myself, and my wife and I are stunned and scared that just knowing that this is the situation that still exists.
The community now hoping that this tragic accident prompts leaders to install more pedestrian crosswalks, add street lights, and lower the speed limit along the main roadway.
The current speed limit along Memorial Drive is 55 miles per hour. Atlanta police are still investigating, but they say the driver did stay on the scene. And as of late this afternoon, charges were pending.
See, I mean, we've done a lot of hit and runs on this channel. And, you know, if you do stay on the scene and it was the pedestrian's fault, unfortunately, it was this little kid. He ran out without looking both ways. You know, you're not going to get hit over the head with the charges. Now, in the last video, they said there were no charges going to be filed. So, just tragic.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, in school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.